The film opens with a mysterious man standing on a hospital rooftop, talking to himself in a broken, desperate way. He pours oil over his body and shouts, "You think you can stop this? Then try. But today, you'll watch me burn." Then he sets himself on fire. We don't yet know who he is or why he did this. That unfolds later. Next, we meet Dr. Marianne Winter, a child therapist who moves from New York to Scotland for a fresh start. Though she tells people she loves rain, the truth is she's trying to escape her painful past and begin a new chapter in life. Marianne joins a mental health clinic in Scotland. On her first day, Dr. Maureen shows her around and tells her she'll soon start her first patient session. When Maureen asks why she moved so far from New York, Marianne simply says, "I like the rain," hiding her deeper grief inside. Marianne specializes in treating mentally ill children. She has been hired to replace Dr. Martin, the same man we saw set himself on fire at the beginning. Her first patient is Karina, a small, frightened girl who doesn't speak and always looks anxious. However, Karina doesn't play an important role in the main story, so the focus quickly shifts away from her. After meeting Karina, Marianne sees her second patient, Manny, a quiet 10-year-old boy who doesn't talk to anyone and spends all his time drawing. Manny lost his parents in a car accident and now lives with an adoptive mother, but he has never spoken to her either. During their first session, Marianne gently asks Manny what he's drawing. Manny stays silent. She reassures him, saying, "I'm not Dr. McVitie. You can talk to me if you want. I won't force you." Finally, Manny breaks his silence and says, "Whenever I talk, people don't like it because of what I can do." Marianne asks why. Manny replies, "Because I can do anything. I can even create like you." He hints that he somehow created Marianne, as if he has godlike power. Marianne finds this strange, but doesn't take it seriously since she thinks Manny is just a deeply troubled child. That evening, Marianne goes to a local bar and notices a Scottish man named Kieran. She is drawn to him immediately, but doesn't have the courage to speak. At the bar, she meets a woman from the clinic who knows Kieran and invites Marianne to their book club, suggesting she should come sometime. On her way home, Marianne passes through a tunnel and witnesses a horrible car accident. 2 cars have collided badly. One man is severely injured and dies before help arrives. She is deeply shaken by this incident. The next day at the clinic, Marianne looks through Manny's case files and notices his drawings. To her shock, one of the pictures exactly matches the car accident she saw the night before. This deeply disturbs her. She also notices that Manny often draws a pig in his pictures, almost as if it's a recurring main character in his world, though she doesn't understand the meaning yet. During her next session, she immediately asks Manny why he drew that accident scene. Calmly, Manny admits, "I caused that accident." Stunned, Marianne asks if he just imagines these things. Manny answers, "It's real. You are here because of me. Without me, you wouldn't exist either." Then, Manny says something even stranger. He tells Marianne that there's a gun inside her desk drawer. Marianne doesn't take this seriously at all and laughs it off, thinking he's just making things up. That night, Marianne dreams about her past. In the dream, she and her husband are traveling together when their car breaks down. A man offers them a ride, but later they get into a terrible accident and her husband dies. This wasn't just a dream. It really happened. This tragedy is the main reason she left New York and moved to Scotland, hoping to leave her painful memories behind. Unable to sleep, Marianne decides to go to the book club where she sees Kieran again. She feels more drawn to him each time. After the meeting, they chat outside and she offers him a ride home. Kieran invites her in. but she hesitates and leaves, later regretting it deeply. The next day at work, while looking through Manny's files, she remembers what he said about the gun in her drawer. Curious and nervous, she decides to check. To her shock, she actually finds a gun there. She asks a staff member if Manny had entered her office, but they say no. No one saw him go in. Now, deeply troubled, Marianne receives a terrifying phone call. A man tells her to kill someone, or else he will kill her. When she asks, "Who will kill me?" the caller hangs up. Marianne starts to wonder if Manny's words and his imagination might be influencing reality. But she tries to convince herself she's just overthinking. To distract herself, she spends time with Kieran. He takes her on his boat at night, and they talk deeply. Marianne shares her painful story, how she lost her husband in the car accident and hoped moving far away would heal her. But in Scotland, she feels like she's entered another strange world and often doesn't know what she should do. Kieran comforts her, telling her not to overthink and that everything will be okay. The more she thinks, the more lost she feels, so he encourages her to let go and live in the moment. The next day, during a staff meeting, Marianne brings up the disturbing phone call. She explains that a man ordered her to kill someone, or else he would kill her. She asks if she should be careful or if it was just a prank. But no one in the meeting, not even the director, takes her seriously. They dismiss her concerns and quickly move on. Feeling ignored, Marianne goes to the director's office afterward. There, he finally tells her the truth. The call came from Dr. McVitie, the previous therapist who treated Manny before her. He explains that McVitie became mentally unstable and warns her not to worry too much. Back home, Marianne finds new drawings from Manny. One of them shows a dead body with the words "Second Death" written on it, which disturbs her deeply. Later, she reads an email containing details about Manny's past. She learns that Manny's father died in a car accident and that his mother took her own life a few months later. A few days later, during another session, Marianne asks Manny why he always draws scenes of death and disasters. Instead of answering, Manny asks her if she found the gun in her drawer. Marianne lies, saying she checked but didn't find anything. Manny stares at her silently, clearly knowing she's lying. He then begins a new drawing, this time showing a man drowning. On it, he writes the name Kieran. Seeing this, Marianne is terrified. She asks who Kieran is, but Manny doesn't give her a clear answer. Feeling more lost than ever, Marianne talks to Dr. Marine. She shares that Dr. McVitie had become obsessed with Manny's case, stopped talking to people, and spent all his time reading strange books before finally setting himself on fire. This revelation makes Marianne even more anxious and scared. Trying to understand more, she visits the library and looks into the books Dr. McVitie mentioned. These books discuss God, the devil, and quantum physics, all pointing to themes of control and creation. Later, Marianne visits Manny's home to talk to his adoptive mother about the gun and his disturbing drawings. The mother seems clueless and has no idea what's going on. Meanwhile, Manny sits nearby, silently drawing again. Marianne approaches him and asks to see his new drawing, but Manny refuses, saying it's about the future. Frustrated, she demands to know how he knows Kieran and how the gun appeared in her drawer. Manny calmly explains that the gun existed because she chose to open the drawer and look. If she hadn't looked, it wouldn't have been there. An idea similar to Schrödinger's cat theory, where both possibilities exist until observed. Angry and shaken, Marianne yells at Manny. Scared, he drops his drawing. She picks it up and sees a pig shooting itself. She realizes the pig represents her and that Manny's previous drawings have all come true. Terrified for Kieran's life, she rushes to the harbor, fearing he might drown, just like Manny's new drawing suggested. She tries calling him many times, but he doesn't answer. She checks his house, but can't find him anywhere. Exhausted and worried, she returns home that evening, but still doesn't find any sign of him. At home, she watches the news and learns that a massive storm caused the deaths of 2,500 people, exactly as Manny had drawn earlier with 25 written on it. Now, fully convinced that Manny controls reality, Marianne decides there's only one person who knows the truth: Dr. McVitie. The next day, she goes to the director's office to ask about Dr. McVitie. The director notices her mental state and suggests she take some time off, but she refuses. Ignoring the advice, Marianne visits Dr. McVitie at a mental hospital. When she meets him, he warns her to kill Manny before Manny kills her. His body is badly burned, but he survived the fire, though in a weak state. Marianne begs Dr. McVitie to tell her if there's any other way, and when Manny started drawing these disturbing pictures. But he doesn't answer her questions and simply walks away. After he leaves, Marianne notices a book titled Second Death, the same words that appeared in Manny's drawings. Panicked, she runs after Dr. McVitie, but before she can reach him, he jumps from the hospital roof and ends his life. By now, Marianne is certain Manny isn't just an ordinary child. If Dr. McVitie's death was real, she fears Kieran might truly die too. She rushes to the harbor and unties the rope of Kieran's boat, letting it drift into the water so he wouldn't be able to use it and go out to sea. Sitting in her car afterward, she tries to convince herself it might all be in her mind. She feels relief, thinking she saved Kieran's life and that maybe Manny isn't actually controlling reality. Trying to distract herself, she goes to the archives to find Manny's old case files. But there, she finds a new drawing. It shows a man sleeping inside a boat. Shocked, she rushes to the coast the next morning and sees rescue workers pulling a boat wreck from the rocks. The boat had been destroyed by a storm. They pull out a body and explain the man had been sleeping when the boat crashed and sank. Kieran drowned. This confirms Marianne's worst fear. No matter what she did, Kieran's fate was already sealed. She realizes Manny truly has control over reality, or perhaps he is like a god in this world. Broken and desperate, Marianne feels she has no other choice left. She kidnaps Manny from his home, determined to confront him directly. Meanwhile, we see a scene between Manny and Dr. McVitie. Manny tells him, "I am the only truth. You all exist inside my mind. I will replace you with another doctor and then kill them too. I am your creator." Back in the present, Marianne points a gun at Manny and demands he return her life to how it was before. Manny laughs and says, "So now you finally believe me?" But it's too late. Marianne notices police sirens outside and escapes with Manny to an abandoned building. Holding him at gunpoint, she desperately asks, "Who are you really? Why are you doing this to me?" Manny replies calmly, "This isn't me. You chose all of this. You chose to see the gun. You chose to see my drawings. You created this." Marianne screams that Manny has controlled her and begs him to give her old life back or she'll kill him. Manny simply laughs and says, "But I'm just a child." It's as if he's mocking her pain. In a moment of rage and hopelessness, Marianne shoots Manny. Realizing she has killed a child, she feels an overwhelming wave of guilt and despair. Unable to bear it, she turns the gun on herself and takes her own life. After this, we see memories from her past. During the car accident, while unconscious, she had prayed to God to save her husband and promised to believe. When she woke up, her husband was alive, and she felt it was all just a bad dream. Back at home, everything seemed normal, but small details started to remind her of Scotland and Manny, making her question if it really was just a dream. As memories fled back, she starts to wonder, is the world she's in now real, or was the world with Manny real? She begins to suspect that even this new life might be another one of Manny's creations, another test. Marianne remembers Kieran's number and calls him. When he answers, he doesn't recognize her at all. Shocked and dizzy, she realizes that if it had all been a dream, how could she know Kieran or his number? Wanting answers, she rushes to Scotland and visits the same clinic. But when she arrives, no one recognizes her. The staff even deny that a boy named Manny was ever treated there. In a shocking twist, Marianne sees Dr. McVitie alive and completely fine at the clinic. Confused and desperate for answers, she sneaks into the hospital's archive room. There, she finds her own file, but all the pages are blank. Suddenly, Manny appears. He tells her, "You were right. This was a test. I gave you a new life, but didn't erase your memories completely. I wanted to see if you'd move forward or search for the past. But you made the same mistake again. You wanted to know everything. When you called Kieran, he fell down the stairs in the dark and died. This happened because you couldn't let go." Heartbroken, Marianne begs Manny to leave her alone and return everything to how it was before she knew him. Manny disappears. When she opens the file again, she finds a gun hidden inside and a drawing showing her husband's death. At that moment, she receives a call saying her husband has died in an accident, just like in the drawing. Panic-stricken, she runs outside with the gun, screaming Manny's name. The police arrive and find her in a distressed state. In the next scene, she is shown in a mental hospital with Manny sitting nearby. Finally, the story reveals the truth. After losing his parents, Manny felt abandoned and blamed himself for not being able to save them. He questioned God and created his own imaginary world to escape his pain. A world where he controlled everything, shown through his drawings. Marianne realizes she wasn't real. She was just a part of Manny's mind, a voice inside him. She tells Manny he needs to face his fear and accept the truth. She reassures him, saying there's nothing to fear and she believes he can do it. This time, Manny listens to her. He goes to his adoptive mother and finally opens up, allowing her to hug him tightly. Meanwhile, in Manny's imaginary world, bright light surrounds Marianne, and she slowly disappears. This shows Manny has chosen to leave his fantasy world and return to reality, deciding to truly live again. And that's where the film ends. A powerful emotional conclusion about grief, guilt, and finally finding the courage to heal.